Hi guys, it's Louise from Gundam Dioramas, and I thought I'd show you my new commission piece that I have just finished. This commission piece was for Gundam figures, and unfortunately I don't own any of those figures, so I'm using Iron Man, Marvel Legends Iron Man, for scale, so you guys can kind of see exactly how he scales, or the figures will scale, should I say, within the piece. Basically this piece here, size-wise, it runs 24 inches across, and it runs probably at the most about 15 inches deep, and the back building on the right there probably scales at about 10 inches high, going down to about 3 to 4 inches on the little corner one there. Okay, right, let's get into the piece and show you guys what I did. Okay, so basically when we decided to sketch out this piece, we were going to make it look sort of a ruined sort of city kind of feel to it, and in that case then I decided that I wanted to make it look like a city road with buildings on one side, and originally I wanted it to have like a grass front on this side, just to give it a little bit of depth and colour. Once I got into the piece, I decided that it ran a bit flat when it stopped here with the grass, so I decided to add these extra pieces on the front here, these rubble pieces, and I actually think now it looks good, and I think it adds a little bit more depth to the whole piece in general. So it's good for sort of taking shots, and obviously for display also, which it will be useful. Okay, this is the first time that I have worked in such a small scale, so you know, I had to do a little bit of research. I had to kind of figure out my scalings. They may not be perfect. It's, you know, it was difficult, especially with the buildings, and maybe this one on the right here probably isn't maybe particularly great to scale, but I think the overall look looks pretty good, and the client is pretty happy, so that's the main thing. For shipping, I decided to make the back three buildings here modular. So these buildings actually come off the piece, and I kind of built them like this, so they stand free on their own, and then when I go to ship the piece, obviously it'll be a lot easier. And again, like I say, this piece here is built so it will stand on its own, and we've got the little corner piece down there, which is pretty straightforward there. Okay, so that's what I did with that one. I do apologise to you guys for my awful voice. I've been pretty sick, and I've had a really bad sinus problem, so I do apologise. I sound pretty horrid at the moment. Okay, so regarding the actual bits within the piece, I made my buildings at the back, and then I decided obviously to have a lot of rubble lying within the piece. I kind of done a little bit of research on YouTube on sort of model railway scaling dioramas. And what I did, I went to my model railway shop and had a little sort of scour and look around. A friend of mine was very kind in sending me these trees, so I had those, and that's what I had in mind for this piece anyway. And when I went into the model railway store, they had these street lights, set of 4 street lights, so I thought that would look pretty cool, and I wanted some as well to go on the piece, so they've worked out pretty well. I also, when I went in there, found a little telephone box, but what I did is I kind of destroyed it. So I kind of destroyed it to make it look like it's been destroyed, basically. And then I went into a second-hand store that we've got here near where I live, and the guy had some micro machine cars for sale. So what I did is I dug through the box of them and picked out some vehicles that I thought kind of looked the most realistic. Okay, so we've got an ambulance there, and I've got a car that's kind of buried in the ground there, if you'll focus, and then we've got a kind of sports car at the back there that's kind of destroyed also. Okay, so good little finds there that I found. Yeah, so I think the kind of scale is it HO scale? I'm not very good with all the railway scales, but I think that's all double O, I'm not sure, double O or HO scales. So that's what I worked on, and all the grass bits here is all model railway parts, sort of scenic grass and tufts and things that I've collected all along the way. So I kind of made it look a little rough and barren by adding different textures to the grass colours and adding some tufts of different things on there too, which I think look pretty good. And what I did as well, when I put the lights, street lights and trees in, I didn't want them to look perfect, because if it's been destroyed they're hardly going to be standing upright, well, not all of them anyway. So what I did is I've placed some holes into the piece, so when the client receives them, all he has to do is just pop them in and they hold. Okay, so that's that one here. I've kind of put it in an angle. This one is more straight, and that one over there is kind of straight too. And then with the trees, I kind of just pushed them into the foam actually. I've pushed them into the foam. You can see, pull one out there. There we go. So I've pushed it into the foam, so when the guy receives them, he can just add them back in. The holes are quite obvious where they go, so that makes it easier for shipping too. Okay, so with this piece, what I did as usual, I base coated the whole thing in matte emulsion, and then I dry brushed basically the whole thing near enough different greys to begin with, and then I just started adding highlights of different colours, creams, whites, browns, just to kind of give a different texture to the rubble, and also added it to different colours to the rubble that's on the ground. And I also use my ink pads again for highlights. I'm still not using my airbrush. I'm probably going to get people going, you really need to start using an airbrush. Well, I still don't feel I need to use it at the moment. I probably will one day, but I'm pretty happy with the way that I work, and I think I'm getting the desired effect. And while I'm happy and it's working, why change something just for the sake of it, and just give yourself complete and utter stress, because stuff like that does stress me out. Okay, so this is just from this angle here, so it kind of gives you the idea of the depth with the figure. So yeah, so that's this piece. Not sort of anything overly technically difficult as such, just a new scale to work in, which I think I'm pretty chuffed with the way it's come out. I'm really happy, and this is getting shipped off later today. So thanks guys, and thanks for subscribing everybody, thanks for liking my videos, and what I'll do is I'll be back soon with a